What's up, guys? Sloppy Joe here. Doing a video that I was inspired by this weekend. I finally managed to squirrel away enough ammo that I could comfortably and without guilt spend a full day at the range shooting nothing but pistols. So I spent, hundreds of rounds from each of these this weekend. And in doing so, I came away with something that I was a little bothered by, but it's something that I've thought about and something that I feel is honest and genuine in my heart. And the title of this video is the SP-01, the pistol that made me fall out of love with 1911s. And I say that as fall out of love in that it is now my preferred go-to, favoritist, bestest pistol that I have or have ever fired. I finally got to spend a lot of time with this pistol, and the more I shot it, the more comfortable I got with it, the more I just could not put it down. The only thing that made me stop shooting it is the fact that I fired ammo out of this thing as quick as I could load magazines. This is just a phenomenal pistol. I hear CZ guys talk about their fanatical nature about CZ. I get it. I finally get it. This gun is just fantastic. And that's not to say that the 1911 is not fantastic, because it is. Especially for the fact that it's, over 100-year-old design. It's still going strong. And, and a well-built one is a phenomenal gun. It is. But this is, in my mind, superior in many ways. And to me, the 45 versus 9mm debate is almost in the same neighborhood as the AK versus AR. Now, I don't mean 5.45 versus 223, 556. Talking 7.62 versus 5.56. But there's the guys that'll always say that they would rather have a big, slow-moving 45 caliber round, and I get that. It's a sledgehammer. It's America's pistol round, but with a 7, 8, 9 round capacity from a full-size metal 1911 versus the CZ's 18 or 19 round magazine, depending on which one you have, plus one in the pipe. So having 20 rounds on tap versus 8 or 9, maybe 10, if you have an extended magazine, which would stick out to about here. Now, 20 rounds from a hyper-accurate, out-of-the-box, factory duty pistol versus, 8, 9, 10 rounds of accurate shots from a big 45, I have to go with the more controllable, the faster, we'll say the faster follow-up shot 9mm, and that being the CZ. The gun itself is ultra controllable. The amount of energy that is moved through the wrist and the elbow, for me, it's almost unnoticeable. And the way this gun behaves, at least when I fire it, is that when you fire, it's almost, the barrel doesn't necessarily flip as it cycles and then resets itself. It's kind of a weird feeling. It's something I noticed. But with some pistols, you fire, and when you've cycled and all that, your sight picture's off. You're not anywhere near where you were aiming. With this pistol, it almost resets itself. You fire, it cycles, and your sights come back, and they've almost reset themselves, and you didn't even think about it. It just happens. It's almost telepathic. It's kind of scary, actually. So all you have to do is just focus on resetting the trigger and squeezing off the next round, because the gun is just about reset itself back to point of aim. It's scary good. It's a fabulous gun. Super well built. I critiqued the trigger before in a review. I take it back. This trigger, the more I fired it, is just phenomenal. It's a great trigger. I think I was just so used to firing this trigger, which has had a trigger job and feels totally different. But once I got used to this, especially shooting out at. I shot both of these 50 yards, and I fired slow, I fired fast, and they're both very, very, very accurate when fired taking your time. Where the difference is made is when you start rapid firing. Now, to be fair, I took my 10-round magazine, loaded it up, loaded this with 10 rounds, and rapid fired as quick as I could while trying to maintain control. Now, the 1911, of course, it behaved like a 1911. You fire, it kicks, you reset, you fire. And good shot placement. Like I said, I tried to keep it controlled and keep firing in about where point of aim was. Did the same thing with the CZ, and the CZ just was far and away just so much faster, so much more accurate, trying to accomplish the same goal. Now, like I said, if you take your time and relax and do all that, they're both accurate. But when firing rapidly and trying to maintain a small target picture and shoot in a same general group, the CZ was lights out. And the scary part is that this is a base model. And for $400 or $500 more, you can get into target and competition pistols. And I've seen guys spend thousands of dollars on 1911s to get that kind of accuracy. And most of those guys aren't shooting 45. They've had to back down to 38 Super, 9mm, etc., etc. So when you're talking about competition fast accuracy, you're still taking a 1911 and in some cases backing the caliber down to something more manageable. So it almost becomes a wash in that sense. But as far as, all things being equal, they're both full size. Make no mistake, this is also a full size pistol. They are both roughly the same size. They're both roughly the same width. They're both roughly the same height. Both roughly the same weight. The difference being when you load up 18 or 19 rounds of 9mm, it does definitely outweigh 8 or 9 rounds of 45. But having 19 or 20 rounds of 9mm on tap versus, again, 7, 8, or 9 rounds of 45, as far as pure firepower, goes to the CZ. Knockdown power, yes, the 45, but for the kind of defensive or emergency situation shooting one might be doing, having 2 or 3 extra mags of this on tap is that's where I would want to be. Now, of course, Glock guys can chime in and say, well, Glocks are this and Glocks are that, and I've owned Glocks. I don't favor them. I don't like them that much. I respect them, but I'm not a Glock guy. And a big thing is they're polymer. I am not a plastic person. For me, I like steel and metal, or steel and wood. I'm of the belief that if all else fails, I have a heavy piece of metal in my hand that I can, beat somebody with. But just, talking about full-size steel-framed guns, I was always very, very much about 1911, 45, big heavy bullet, but I am definitely now, I understand CZ guys and their fanatic ways with these pistols. Yeah, it's not a 45, it's a 9mm, but I would, in any situation going forward, this would be my go-to. So that's what I got to say about it right now, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post up. I'm about out of time. Talk to you guys later. Talk to you. Bye.